Hello and welcome to a new series on the Armour Statues Data Pack. I'll be going through the basics on how to get started, and in each episode that follows I will then work through another example to show you what you can do. I would love to hear from you and see what ideas you have for me to make in one of these episodes. If you like what you see and want to see more, please subscribe or maybe just leave a like or a comment. Now, first, you might be thinking why you put some life into your builds, and you're really only limited by your creativity and a fair amount of patience. I'm going to try and keep this short and punchy, but don't forget you can pause and rewind whenever you want. Now I'm going to flick up some examples of just what I found on Reddit and Planet Minecraft while I was making this video, but hopefully over the course of this series we're going to make some pretty epic scenes. Okay, so how to get started with armor stands. You need the Armour Statues Data Pack, which is linked in the description. It is from Vanilla Tweaks, and I will jump onto my Google Chrome to install that on here. Here we go. So I've preloaded Vanilla Tweaks on Google Chrome. You need to go to the Data Packs option, and once it's loaded, it should appear somewhere in the list. Now it might move depending on when you are watching this video. So I've selected that. I also tend to install coordinates. I just find it much easier to see where I am in the world, even if it's in creative mode. So I'm going to select that. And there we go, I've got my two data packs. Then you can skip. Now, where to download? You need to go to your save file. So I've created a world already. I've got a save file in my Minecraft folder, and that is where I need to save it. So I've got that open on my other screen. I'm going to paste that in to my download. Now you then need to go into the Data Packs folder, and that is where you save your Vanilla Tweaks zip file. Now that's not the last step. What you now need to do is extract, like so. And once you've extracted, you then need to highlight the contents of that file and put it back into this Data Packs folder. Now you can clean up and you can get rid of these two, like so. And that should be all that you need to do. So now we can return to our Minecraft game. We can then jump back in and restart my Minecraft so that those data packs can come online. Okay, so next thing, we need to get the book that you can use to control all of the things that you can do with armor stands. Now, I'm in creative mode, but you should be able to follow along the steps if you're in survival, as long as you have all of the basic components. So we press E to load up the items, search, and first thing that we're going to need is a book and quill. Like so. Right click to enter some text into the book. Now this can literally be anything whatsoever. You don't have to type in what I am. Basically you need something in the book so that you can sign it and call it Statues. Now the name of the book is very important. You need to make sure it's spelt exactly the same as I have there. Once you've typed that in, click sign and close, and you will notice that I now have Statues v2.8 by Stick God Original. Now, as long as you have that, you are ready to start playing with the armor stands. In terms of what you need for armor stands, to craft, let's start with a crafting table. We then need smooth stone, and we need sticks. To start, you need to get slabs, and once you have slabs, you can create your armor stand. Now I'm going to create 10, like so, and to place it down, you just click. Now it will orientate itself to wherever you place it. And there we go. We can get started. Now, If you're about to start a particular armor statues project and you are organised, which is not like me, I would start off with a setup something like this. We've got an anvil to name things, just in case you want to name any of your characters. We have a crafting bench to craft up some armor or any items that we might use. We have a shulker box to carry all of the items that we might need, and we have a stone cutter. Now in our shulker box we probably have more resources than we'll ever need, but we do have logs and smooth stone for crafting armor statues. We have every single type of dye, and we then have leather, iron, gold. We can use those for the different types of armor. We have player heads. Now obviously you can't stack different types of player heads, so you may well have multiple shulker boxes full of player heads depending on what you're doing. And finally you might have some props for the scenes that you're going to set up, which could be absolutely anything. Now remember, you can pause, you can rewind, you can watch this video as many times as you like. So if you think I'm going too fast, pause it, replay it, start from where you started getting lost. Okay, so let's get started with the first thing. So we are going to grab some wood and some smooth stone. We are going to make some smooth slabs. We're then going to make some sticks. We're going to combine those to armor stands. Now I've just not been careful. I've got an absolute ton of armor stands. I find it helpful to make a lot of those in batch because it takes a bit of time to craft. So putting the armor stand down. First step, we grab our book. Now you need to right click near the statue, and just as a word of warning, if you have two statues, your book will apply to the one that you are nearest to. So I can show you that quickly by right clicking. There's an option here for check target. It will then highlight the one that you are essentially talking to. Now if I go over here, check target, it will be this one. So that's something to be careful of. Okay, focusing on this one. Now the first thing that I do every single time is do a little bit of setup. There are things that can happen that you really don't want to happen when you've spent a little bit of time working on it. So first things, let's start from the top left, styles. Now you have show base plate, show arms, small stand, apply gravity, stand visible, display name. What I like to do is I like to get rid of the base plate straight away. You don't really want a base plate on your character because it looks like an armor stand. Once you've done that, your base plate will be gone. Heading back into styles, now you probably want your arms if you're doing a person, like so. If you are doing a child character, you might want a small stand, or if you are using an armor stand to make an item float, you might choose small stand to make your block smaller. For this one I'm going to keep it as a larger stand. Now apply gravity. This is where I always click no. Now if you apply gravity, even once you've sealed it, which you'll see later, it will be affected by TNT, it will be affected by water, and that is not what you want. You don't want your statues being affected by kind of real world things later, because all of that hard work might go to waste. So I'm going to click no. Now sometimes if you are making floating blocks or doing different scenes without characters, you might want your armor stand to be invisible, so you might click no. Now obviously that's not very helpful now because we don't have any other items on it, so let's put that back to yes. And finally you can display name. Now that can be useful if, for example, you want to give your character a name. Maybe that's the name of your postman in your village, maybe that's a bad character. Again, creativity is required. Now I'm going to hide that, and here is our, hello kitty, here is our basic armor stand. Now next thing we need to do is to dress our character. Now I'm going to go with some very basic brown clothes just to start. Now you don't need the helmet because you're going to put a head on him. So let's put that all in my hotbar. To put on the clothes, you right click on the armor stand with each item that you're putting on, including your head. And there you go. That is your first armor stand statue. Now, the only other thing I'm going to show you in this episode is how to add a basic item. So we're going to grab our honey bottles. Again, you give it to him. And there he has his honey bottle. Now what you might see in later videos is he is holding the honey bottle, but he's holding it in a very Minecrafty way. And so you might want to change that later. So that's it. You should be ready to get started. You know how to get the data pack, you know how to craft the book and the armor stands, and you should know how to place an armor stand and start interacting with it. In the next episode, I'm going to start by doing a basic example while we get used to these commands, and we'll build up to more complicated ones in later episodes. But until that time, this is me, Jazzy Panther. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.